is the cause and is meant for. Vedaha, knowledge. Devaha, the demigods. Narayana, the Supreme Lord. Angajaha, assisting hands. Narayana, the personality of Godhead. Parah, for the sake of. Loka, the planets. Narayana, the Supreme Lord. Paraha, just to please him. Makaha, all sacrifices. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki. The Vedic literatures are meant by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as part of this body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and different sacrifices are performed just to please him. Purport. According to the Vedanta Sutras, Shastra Yonitvat, the Supreme Lord is the author of all revealed scriptures, and all revealed scriptures are for knowing the Supreme Lord. Veda means knowledge that leads to the Lord. The Vedas are made just to revive the forgotten consciousness of the conditioned souls. And any literature not meant for reviving God consciousness is rejected at once by Narayana Para devotees. Such deluded books of knowledge have not having Narayana as their aim are not knowledge at all, but are the playgrounds for crows who are interested in the rejected refuse of this world. Any book of knowledge, science or art, must lead to the knowledge of Narayana. Otherwise, it must be rejected. That is the way of advancement of knowledge. The supreme worshipable deity is Narayana. The demigods are recommended secondarily for worship in relation to Narayana because the demigods are assisting hands in the management of the universal affair. As the officers of a kingdom are respected due to their relation to the king, the demigods are worshipped due to their relation to the Lord. Without Lord's relation, worship of the demigods is unauthorized, avidhi purvakam. Just as it is improper to water the leaves and branches of a tree without watering its roots. Therefore, the demigods are also dependent on the Narayana. The lokas or different planets are attractive because they have different varieties of life and bliss, partially representing the Satchidananda Vigraha. Everyone wants the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. In the material world, such an eternal life of bliss and knowledge is progressively realized in the upper planets. But after reaching there, one is inclined to achieve the further progress along the path back to Godhead. Duration of life with the proportionate quantity of bliss and knowledge may be increased from one planet to another. One can increase the duration of life to thousands and hundreds of thousands of years in different planets, but nowhere is there eternal life. But one who can reach the highest planet, that of Brahma, can aspire to reach the planet in the spiritual sky where the life is eternal. Therefore, the progressive journey from one planet to another culminates in reaching the supreme planet of the Lord, Madhama, where life is eternal and full of bliss and knowledge. All different kinds of sacrifices are performed just to satisfy Lord Narayana with the view to reach him, and the best sacrifice recommended in this age of Kali is Sankirtan Yajna, the mainstay of devotional service of Narayana Para devotees. Magyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Chagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to the Wednesday morning Bhagavatam class. So today's verse is straightforward and very simple. And one word that is constantly repeating in this shloka, one phrase is Narayana Para. So where else do we get this word Narayana Para? Yes, Prabhu? Repeat the shloka. Okay. Vasudeva Para Veda, Vasudeva Parang. It's a long list that is given. But Narayana Para, where it comes? Yes, 6th canto. Narayana Para Sarve, Nakutaschana Bibyati, Sarga Apavarga Narakeshu, Apitulyartha Darshana. So who says this? To whom? Lord Shiva tells this to Parvati. And in fact, he further says, you think that you are very beautiful, but actually devotees are more beautiful than you because of this particular quality. They are Narayana Para. So Narayana Parayana is one who is fully dedicated to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, so this is 6th canto. In Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, there is another similar phrase. Kama Krodha Parayana. So exactly same. Full dedication, full determination, full focus. But on what? Not Narayana. On Kama and Krodha. Lust and anger. Fully dedicated. And in fact, anger is called as Kamanuja. You know Ramanuja, right? Who's Ramanuja? Lakshman. Ram's Anuja. We have Ramanujacharya, who is also an expansion of Lakshman only. So Rama Anuja, who is the brother of Ram, that is Lakshman. So anger, another name for anger is Kam Anuja. Wherever there is lust, Kam will be following behind. Right? So there is Kama Krodha Parayana, which is demoniac quality, as Krishna has mentioned in the 16th chapter. And then we have Narayana Parayana, which is mentioned in the 6th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Where are we? Okay, what are we trying to do? We are trying to go from Narayana Parayana to, Kama Krodha Parayana to Narayana Parayana. So there is one verse. I hope you're able to see the screen. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is a very beautiful verse, which actually shows when a person finally reaches that stage, where now he is saying that, okay, I'm resigning from Kama Krodha Parayana and I'm applying to Narayana Parayana. This is the verse. Kamadina katina katita palita durnideshas tesham jatamayi na karuna na trapa no pashantihi utsrajaitan atha yadupate samapratyam labda buddhis tvam ayat sharanam abhayam mam niyuktasvam dasye. Oh my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. So who's Parayana? Fully dedicated, completely religiously following, 100% surrendered soul. So who's Kama Krodha Parayana? All those things to lust and anger. There is no limit to the unwanted orders of the lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, at beck and call, I have rendered service. Like one devotee who came to Krishna consciousness, he was saying how he came to Krishna consciousness. He was in Chicago, not Indian. He was born and raised in Chicago. And he was addicted to alcohol. So during winter season, one night, he got a strong urge to drink alcohol. So what is that? Kama Krodha Parayana. Kama especially. Kama Parayana. So the lust ordered that I want to enjoy. So then he saw in his fridge, everything got over, all alcohol got over. So now he had to take his car, go for some distance, and then buy alcohol and come back. And it was freezing. One of our devotees, actually, preacher devotee, he told he was staying in Chicago 10 years back. And then he got up in the morning and he saw the time, 11 degrees. Not a problem. He had a bath, hot water bath, and then he thought I'll go for chanting and come back. The moment he opened the door and walked for 10 steps, his fingers froze. And the steam, I don't know what they call it, foam, not foam, fog. When he was breathing, it came out. Then he saw the time properly because he was sleepy. He didn't see the time fully. He saw now it is -11 degrees Celsius. And he ran into the room back and he was chanting there. So in such freezing cold, this devotee, this person decided that I'm going to serve. No limit to the unwanted desires. I'm going to render service to my desire to drink alcohol. He takes the car key, sits in the car, and he goes all the way. And both sides, because it is very cold and it's like late night, 7 o'clock, even daytime, nobody wants to come out unless there is work. It is so cold outside. People prefer to remain in the rooms and switch on the heaters. So 11 o'clock at 11:30 at night, this person is going in the car, and there is heater in the car also. So no problem. He went to the bar, and there was only one bottle left. They were closing the store. He bought that. Finally, he felt very fortunate. Krishna is there. Krishna arranged for one bottle. So then he bought the bottle. And when he was coming back, the car broke down. Right? And the battery died of the car. So what do you do in India when your battery dies? The car start. So he didn't have anyone else to give the car. But he had already made up his mind. घर में जाएंगे, आराम से हीटर ऑन करके टीवी देखते हुए we will take great ecstasy, we'll enjoy. So he wanted to somehow make it happen. So he got down from the car. It was freezing like crazy. He was pushing the car. It didn't work out. Finally, could not, such intense desire was there. He took the bottle, he opened it, he was drinking it. He kept it on the car, and then he was pushing it also. At some point, his leg slipped, and he fell. And the bottle of alcohol also fell and broke. And, Yugaitam Nimesha. Everything got wasted. And he was feeling angry, frustrated, everything at the same time. So in that lying state, when he was lying on the ground, looking at the sky, there are buildings all around, there is no one on the streets. At that time, the realization hit him. He said, what am I doing? What am I doing with... No, he's not a devotee yet. What am I doing with my life? This is how I want to lead my life. There is no class, human form of life is rare. Nothing. He is a pure, proper Kamakrodha Prayan. And suddenly for him, that realization hits. And this you will find even in Bhagavatam 9th canto, Bhagavatam 9th and 11th canto. You have a Pingala's case, Pingala story, where she was a prostitute waiting for customers to come. She was disappointed. And then suddenly she realizes that ultimately my lover is Paramatma in the heart, and then it gets realized. So when you read that pastime, you'll feel like, where is devotee association? Where is Krishna's mercy? Some contemplation she got and she became pure devotee. So realization, we cannot control realization. We can control information. Google, Wikipedia and everything. We can even control knowledge also to some extent. By heart shlokas, contemplate, make some nice notes, come up with some nice theories and everything. But realization is not in our hands. So we cannot dictate Krishna, when I'm chanting Hare Krishna, that time I should get realization. A person may be in the local train, a person may be in traffic, a devotee may be in the office, then some realization may suddenly dawn upon that person. Right. So here he's saying, although I have rendered this desire so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. At least your bosses may be horrible. At least Saturday, Sunday, so you'll have one leave, 2 days off. But for lust and anger, no. Actually, Saturday, Sunday is even more, double time, because you don't have any other work. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor I have even desired to give them up. So there is a phrase, Kama Aturanam Nabhayam Nalajjam. When someone is atur with lust, he has no fear, no shame also. So, oh my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires, and now come to you to surrender myself at your lotus feet, fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. So here a person is literally putting a resignation to Kamakrodha Prayan and wanting to become Narayana Parayana. Right. So what do we do until we reach this stage? Right. So many of us may be like, even including myself, I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I even desired to give them up. I think in the previous class we discussed about the Vanaprastha one session was there. Prabhupada gave a purport. Prabhupada said that most people don't desire to give up home also. Same thing is mentioned here. I don't even desire to give them up. So what do we do in that situation? We have not even reached that stage. Kamakrodha Parayana is still there. We discussed that crow. Prabhupada was mentioned crow and swan. So we are not crows. We were once upon a time. And now we are not fully swans also. So we have some black feathers and some white feathers also. So what do we do in that situation? What Parayana do we become? Anyone has any answer? The answer is in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter talks about Kamakrodha Parayana. And the same Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter talks about another Parayana. Anyetvam ajanantah shrutyapya upasate te pichati taranteva mrityum shruti parayana. Those who have become dedicated to hear about Krishna. And they are the one who transcend the death, is what he's saying. Because of the tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the place of birth and death. And that is exactly our situation. Our adhikar is this. Our adhikar right now is not Narayana Parayana. Definitely our adhikar is Kamakrodha Parayana, but we don't want that. Right? So currently this is our situation. And Prabhupada writes in great detail here. Please read this purport whenever you get time later. So right now that's what we are trying to do. Shruti Parayana. So we may not be able to become Narayana Parayana. We may still have anarthas in the heart and everything. And many times the scale of anarthas and the sheer graphicness of our desires may sometimes make us feel give up hope. Prabhuji, before coming to Bhakti, I did not have so much material desire. After coming to Bhakti, it has become even more. Many times we may feel. Right? So why is that? The room may be very clean, but when you start cleaning, a lot of dust starts rising. And the intermediate process is very messy. Right? Initially, it looks okay clean because all dust is like accumulated in corners. It's not visible. Superficially, you clean. Right? Like whenever, especially in our voices, in Bhagavatam 11th canto, 12th canto, 12th canto, it's mentioned. In Kali Yuga, brahmacharis are going to be extremely dirty, it seems, cleanliness wise. Right? So, brahmacharis in the sense, unmarried, our voice ho gaya, ya fir, I can see a lot of smiles on the faces. So, looks like we are proving it true. My spiritual master was telling in one of the class. That is one prediction in Bhagavatam which we should prove wrong. That brahmacharis are going to be dirty. Like if you see hostel rooms, for example. Right, all of us have been to our engineering and whatever colleges. And hostel rooms are the deadliest places to go to. Right. So one of our Maharajas was invited. I think Bhakti Vikas Maharaj or Jayadatt Maharaj. He was invited. Maharaj, would you like to come to our base in Bangalore? Maharaj said, no, you people live very unclean. The rooms are very unclean. I'm not going to come. No, Maharaj, we'll clean it. And we keep clean also anyway, but we'll clean it even more. Then somehow they convinced Maharaj, and Maharaj said, okay, I will come. And the date was fixed, time was fixed. And devotees went into Maha cleaning mode. Every nook and corner, everything was properly spick and span, shining actually. Then they put incense and everything, and then Maharaj came. Maharaj came in, one step inside, the door was open, and he put his finger on the top of the door. And he says, so much dust is there. Right. So from that point onwards, every time we do any clean, house or in Maha clean, first thing I do is clean that. Right. So anyway, what are we discussing? So when you start cleaning, a lot of this starts coming out. Right. So that's why we should not, we may be helpless. Sometimes we may see this sheer volume of desires and we may be helpless. We may feel, this life, I don't think it will be possible to deal with this kind of problems. So we may be helpless, but we should never be hopeless. Right? There is always, that's the whole point of Bhagavad Gita itself. Arjuna became helpless. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita and gave him hope. And that is the commodity which we are actually distributing. Right. Like I mentioned in the previous classes also, there was one of our book distributors distributing books enthusiastically in, okay, I think that verse is gone. Enthusiastically distributing books in airport. So the flight was late and this was in the West. This person was so enthusiastically distributing books. He had one big carton, everything got distributed. So one person sitting there, he was actually a company's entrepreneur, CEO. And he saw that this person is distributing Bhagavad Gita to people who didn't want Bhagavad Gita also. Means he's extremely very good in marketing. That's what his conclusion. So he came to him and said, hi, my name is so-and-so. I was just wondering if you're interested in any job opportunities. I have a marketing position open in my company. Would you like to join? So then our Prabhu asked him, do you have Bhagavad Gita? He said, no. Would you like to take on Bhagavad Gita? He said, sure. He thought, see, I have to build rapport. So he took the Bhagavad Gita from him and said, what about my job offer? He said, let me think for some time. Okay, take your time. And they exchanged numbers. And 1 week later, no calls from our Prabhu. He was distributing Bhagavad Gita or whatever book distribution. Then our Prabhu calls him back. This person calls him back and says, did you consider my job offer? He said, I'm thinking, still thinking. Do you have Bhagavatam? He said, no, Bhagavatam, I don't know what it is. Oh, don't worry, give me your address. I'll send you the QR code. You make the payment. Bhagavatam will be there tomorrow. He said, again, he thought, let me take one more book. investment. He was thinking he was investing in the relationship. So then he bought Bhagavatam also. And then one more week passed. Again he called him. So 2 weeks have passed. What about job offer? He said, do you have CC, Chaitanya Charitamrita? He could not even pronounce that. Chaitanya Charitamrita. No, I don't have it. So please buy. I'll consider. So then after selling all Prabhupada books to him, and finally that person asked, so now what do you think? Would you like to join my company? He said, do you think I'm distributing these books for commission or profit? Right. That is not the purpose because of which I'm distributing these books. These books have given hope in my life. And that is the hope that I'm distributing to each and every people every time I give Bhagavad Gita to others. Right. So that is what actually we're distributing. We are not distributing some food or some big temple. We're giving peace of mind and all of that. All that comes secondary. What we're giving to people is actually hope. First, ourselves, that I'm not itna third class Gaya Gujara person that I cannot see. Jiva Goswami says, if a person is pessimistic, he's atheistic. If you feel, at any point in time a person feels that the situation is so third class, so negative, that even Krishna can't do anything, that means you have no faith in Krishna. So no matter how bad the situation be, Krishna can always do something about it. So don't tell Krishna how big our problem is. Tell our problems how big Krishna is. Right? Anyway, coming back to our verse. See, Prabhupada initially, this verse has 4 things. First is with respect to the scriptures. And then secondly, demigods. Third, all the planets, the duration of life and planets. And finally, with respect to Yajna. So if you see, Prabhupada actually writes that the Vedas are written by God himself, and it is written about God also. Right? So the purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna. And that is the reason we do Krishna Katha whenever, like Prabhupada is actually mentioning here, any art or science related books. Nowadays, people may not be reading so much books. There may be a lot of podcasts. There may be a lot of YouTube videos, podcasts, audio books, where these kind of knowledge is being discussed. And the very fact that people are having so much interest in listening to podcast means people have the desire to hear. But only problem is that content, what is available, is it really worth it or not? That is a question mark. Right. So I was recently thinking on why is it that Hare Krishna? Why is it that Prabhupada is so strong? You see, Prabhupada is using the word rejected. Any book of knowledge must lead to the knowledge of the Narayana. Otherwise, it must be rejected. Okay. So now, generally, even if you see among the books that are there, people are more interested to hear what kind of books, philosophy or stories? Stories. And that is the reason we have Mahabharata. And then we have Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam also has a lot of stories. Like Bhagavad Gita doesn't have any story at all. Krishna doesn't see. Many times people say that Bhagavad Gita is meant to incite. Krishna wanted to incite Arjuna to fight. If Krishna really wanted to incite Arjuna to fight, he didn't have to give such long philosophy and Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and everything. He just had to remind Arjuna what all Duryodhana and the Pandavas, Kauravas did to him. Disrobing of the. He didn't have to do that also. Just take the chariot and stand in front of Duryodhana and Dushasana. That's all. Arjuna will be in full fire to fight. But Krishna didn't want Arjuna to fight out of vengeance. Because he says, Nirvaira Sarva Bhuteshu, 11th chapter, 55th verse. He wants Arjuna to fight as a matter of duty. So here, why is it that, okay, coming to story. What is a simple definition of story? What is a story? Katha, right? Krishna Katha, we say, what is Katha? What is the story? Forget about, we'll come to Krishna Katha later. What is this Katha? What is the story? Simplest definition of story is, once upon a time, someone did something. Correct. All stories, movies, novels, Krishna Katha, Prabhupada Leela, Chaitanya Leela, Mahabharata, everything can be summarized in this one sentence, one simple formula. Once upon a time, someone did something. Okay. Once upon a time, that is Kala. Someone, it is Jiva or Ishwar, did karma, something, Prakriti. So all stories are nothing but some jivas or maybe Supreme Lord. So someone did some activities. If it is a jiva, then it is karma. And if it is pure devotee or if it is Krishna, then there is no karma, it's a leela in such cases. Once upon a time, under Kala, surrounded by Prakriti. Now, let us keep Krishna aside for a minute and pure devotees aside for a minute. So there are 5 things here. 4 things basically. Actually 5. Jiva, Ishvara, Kala, Karma, and Prakriti. So there are these 5 things. So each of these 5 things, the problem is, so any story can be combined of these 5 things. The problem with material story is that each of these 5 things can be under 3 modes of material nature. The jiva can come under 3 modes of nature. The karma definitely can become under 3 modes of nature. The 18th chapter talks about it. Determination in 3 modes, action in 3 modes, worker in 3 modes. Then kala can be in 3 modes. Morning is goodness, afternoon is like daytime is passion, and evening is ignorance. Prakriti can be in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Some things like Charanamrita is in the pure goodness. Water is in the mode of goodness. That's why Bhagavatam says that water actually has a tendency to refresh the mind. And alcohol can be in the mode of passion, right? And some of the energy drinks, Red Bull and those kind of things, they are like give a lot of energy after drinking. They are maybe in the mode of passion. So each of these 5 things are in the mode of are possible to be in the 3 modes of material nature. So 3 threes are 9, 9 threes are 27, 27 threes are 81. So if you keep the jiva aside, all these 4 things, kala, karma, prakriti, and Ishvara. So Ishvara, let us keep him aside. So jiva, Ishvara, kala, karma. Sorry, jiva, karma, prakriti, and kala. Each of these 3 can be in the 3 modes. Each of these 4 can be in the 3 modes of material nature. So 3 into 3 into 3 into 3 is 81. And that's exactly the number mentioned in the 3rd canto Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. How many types of devotional service are there? 81 types of devotional service within the 3 modes of material nature. Right. The moment, so that is the reason any story you hear will be having the component of these 3, these 4 things in the 3 modes of nature. So now what happens? Say for example, we hear a story. What is the story? The story begins like this. In the early morning hours. Which mode? Goodness. What is this thing? Kala. Okay. Person gets up from his bed. Which mode was the person in? Tamoguna. He didn't have bath yet. Okay. And then he goes to his refrigerator. And then he takes out a bottle of alcohol and drinks it. Okay. Karma is tamasic. The prakriti, the alcohol is also tamasic. So let's assume, let's give 100 points for each of these 4. Okay, plus 100, mode of goodness. Minus 100, person is in tamoguna. Minus 100, activities in tamoguna. Minus 100, the prakriti is in tamoguna, the alcohol is in tamoguna. So plus 100, minus 100, minus 100, minus 100, minus 100. Total is equal to minus 200. Which means what? Basically, by hearing this particular story, by focusing on this particular katha, which was not Krishna katha, we have come up with a new way of becoming miserable in the material world. Oh, it's possible to drink alcohol in the morning also. That impression is created in our mind. Right? It may not be very strong. We may not be convinced about it, but it's possible. That is the reason in the Bhagavatam also, when Parishit Maharaj is to be introduced, what's the pastime Shukadeva Goswami uses for introducing Parishit Maharaj? Beating of the cow. So when Sutta Goswami is describing to Shaunakadi Rishis about this pastime, there was one Kali who was a person, black man who was beating the cow. The audience stops him and says, "What are you saying? We don't want to hear this. If it is not correct," they're telling Sutta Goswami, who has got association of Shukadeva Goswami, they're pausing him and they're saying, "Please don't continue this story if it has nothing to do with Krishna." Then he says, "Nah, Baba, there is something to do with Krishna. Wait, it's coming." Which means they don't want to create such impressions also in their mind. That, like, because of the nature of our minds, whatever we hear, it tries to picturize it. So that's why the moment we have these 4 things in the 3 modes of material nature, then it's possible that we also associate with the 3 modes of material nature. Now, the moment we add Ishvara to this picture, the entire mathematics changes. So we have Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma in the 3 modes. But okay, so let's say the goodness is 100, passion is 0, ignorance is minus 100. What about the Supreme Lord? He is plus infinity. Or you can say plus 10,000, for example. So the moment you have Krishna in the picture, then regardless of the other 4 things will be uplifted like anything. That's why Prabhupada said, even if a person has to drink alcohol, he can think the taste of alcohol is Krishna. So this is how many of the stories and pastimes. That's why if you see Bhagavad Gita, first chapter is filled with names. Vidamanyasya Vikranta, Uttamojasya Viryavan, Purujit Kunti Bojasya, Shaibyasya Narapungavaha. Long list of names. And dur tak there is no Krishna there. Krishna, and in first chapter, the Krishna doesn't speak also. What is the name of the book? Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad doesn't speak in the first chapter. In fact, there is an indirect mention by Sanjaya. Bhishma Drona Pramukata Sarvesham cha Mahishitam Uvacha Partha Pashaitan Samavetan Kuruniti. Sanjaya is telling, Krishna said that, see, there is Bhishma and Drona standing. You wanted to see, right? Who is standing? See, the Bhishma Drona are standing. So 1/4 of a verse is what Krishna is speaking in the first full 45, 46 verses of the first chapter of Gita. And Prabhupada writes, Prabhupada actually mentions in class, many times people may feel that, how is this connected to Krishna? Because it is, how is this Bhagavad Gita? But because these people are doing their activities in relation to Krishna, that's why hearing their names also is as good as hearing about Krishna. Like Prabhupada mentions in the 17th chapter, the food in the three modes of material nature. There is a long report where Prabhupada says molasses or sugar cane. There may be some food items which may not be in the mode of goodness. Right? But when they are mixed with the mode of goodness products, or when they're offered to Krishna, they can be purified. And then Prabhupada is a long list of things that can be done. So this is the reason why Prabhupada is actually telling here, reject those things which are not purely Krishna, or which have no connection to Krishna. Because they only make us more and more convinced, they only make our mind more and more connected to the three modes, a different combination of three modes of material. That is the whole idea. And the moment it is connected to Krishna, then the whole concept, the whole entire formula changes, because Krishna is plus infinity when it comes to the three modes of material nature. Krishna has the power to uplift anyone. That's why if you read the 9th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, many of the pastimes there may look very strange. Like we have this example of Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by Shringi. We say that Parikshit had the power to curse back. Did he curse back? No. In the 9th canto, there is an example where this happens actually. One king wanted to perform some yajna, and he tells Vashishta Muni, if I'm not wrong, that can you perform this yajna? Vashishta Muni says, okay. But then Indra gives him a special VIP invitation. Says, no, one yajna is there in the heaven, can you perform? So Vashishta goes there to perform. And because the time gap is too much, now 1 day in heaven is equal to 6 months here. So the long time passes here, and the king says, Vashishta, I told him he should perform yajna, he didn't perform. He went and performed yajna to demigods. Why? Because he was interested in money, the charity that he gets. That was his conclusion. He comes back. The time he comes back, this person king has taken another poor oath and performed the yajna. Vashishta Muni becomes angry. He curses the king. Right? And the king curses back at Vashishta Muni. And then the pastime continues. Similarly, the same Vashishta Muni, there was one king called Prakshadra. He was guarding the cows. He was, despite being Kshatriya, he was guarding the cows. That was his main primary duty. And one day, in that night time, one tiger comes in. And in that full chaos, he actually uses that sword. The tiger gets hurt and tigers run away. Tiger runs away. In the morning, he realizes that the tiger got hurt. Tiger's ear got cut. But in the process, the cow's neck also got cut. And the cow died. So was it an intentional mistake? No. Vashishta Muni gets to know this. And he says, you have killed a cow. I curse you to become a Shudra in the next life. Prabhupada writes in the purport, the very fact, Durmatihi, the sloka itself is the word Durmatihi. Very fact that Purohit is supposed to actually not take those things very seriously, because the intention was not to kill the cow. He should have come up with a solution to deal with the reaction rather than cursing. This shows that Vashishta is not free from the three modes of material nature. He also was infected by the mode of Tamoguna. Who's Vashishta? Lord Ram's Guru is Vashishta. So in the pastime between Vishwamitra and Vashishta, Vashishta comes out as mature. King Kaushik Raja comes as more immature and childish. And he is being shown as making a mistake here. So 9th canto contains many of these pastimes. You may sometimes feel there is another pastime where a king becomes male for 1 month and female for another month. So when you hear all these pastimes, you look, I can't see Krishna here. Why is this pastime being discussed here? And of course, in that Pashadra pastime, what happens? What does Pashadra do? He's cursed. Right, so you wanted to do some service in kitchen department. Prabhu is not here. Prabhu is not here. Okay. So he tells you, Prabhu, cook Prabhu is here. So imagine Vishnuvardhan Prabhu is there. He said, Prabhu, I want to do some service for devotees. Cook devotees, not that I want to assist. And in the process of cooking kheer, rather than putting sugar, he puts salt. My mistake. He had a good intention. And then Prabhu blasts him. It's unheard of. You might be thinking, Prabhuji, I'm not even understand. I never saw him angry also. So What are you talking about? Suppose Kripakar Prabhu blasts and says, get out of the voice. You cannot stay in voice. Right? In the piece, in yoga or whatever. That's what happened to Prakshadra. So imagine how can Vishnuvardhan Prabhu, is it justified for Vishnuvardhan Prabhu to talk back? Or say, Prabhuji, what is this such an, or can Vishnuvardhan Prabhu go to Rajakrishna Prabhu? Or hey, our Damodar Prabhu. Right. Generally we'll do that, no? Prabhuji is very angry and I was wanting to serve only. One small mistake and he's pulling me away from. Prashadra did not do anything. He accepted the curse with folded hands. He went to forest, performed devotional service, became pure devotee and went back to Godhead. Can you imagine? He literally gave the curse back to Vishnu and he went away. Went back to Godhead. So there are many pastimes in 9th canto. King went back to Godhead, Vasishtha continued. So that's why, so 9th canto pastimes, one of the devotees was telling in the class that because he's approaching now 10th canto, it's possible that, and they're almost approaching 7 days deadline also, it's possible that there may be still some remnant of in the heart, desires in the heart of Parishad Maharaj about this material world. This material world is a nice place, good place and everything. So to once and for all destroy that illusion, Shukadeva Goswami chose those specific pastimes in the 9th canto, which to tell him that material world can be a very confusing and very complex place also. Right? You have been cursed, that itself is complex. You made a small mistake and got unreasonable punishment. But even otherwise, there are so many cases where things have happened. So it is not, you're not a unique case. Don't think that in this life things went wrong. Next life I'll come back and smart enough to enjoy nicely. Don't think like that. You know, in every life there is a possibility that things can go wrong at any point. So anyway, coming back to this discussion, that is the reason we need to have Krishna Katha. The moment we have Krishna in picture, immediately whatever the other activities may be happening, it may be in 3 modes also, but Krishna has the power to purify and uplift our consciousness. Then Prabhupada is talking with respect to demigods. So we have, I think all of us have heard enough classes on how should we be treating the demigods. Demigods should be treated as the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They are actually like the agents who are executing Lord's activities. And treating them offensively is also dangerous. Right? So we cannot treat them like they are useless people. At the same time, we cannot treat them equal to the Supreme Lord also. Both are offensive. And there may be times where one of the definition of surrender, I think I was hearing one, I do not remember the shloka, I didn't by heart it yet. So one of the definition of surrender there it was mentioned was to go against the Vedas if the Vedic instruction goes against the devotional principles. That is also a part of surrender. Now, for us it may be very simple. I'll give up a big deal. No, you be born in a Vedic family, from childhood follow the Vedic principles, and then give up those Vedic principles for the sake of Subhanath. And that is surrender. Apne ko to Vedic principle bata hi nahi tha. Like today is Vishu, if I'm not wrong. I think in Kerala they celebrate that particular festival. Right. So today is a very auspicious day. I was told from some of the devotees that make sure you take darshan of the deities in the morning and everything. So we slept in the hall because we have altar in the hall. So when you open the eyes, rightly in front of deities only we open. The curtain is not there as of now. So anyway, so it's like Radhesham Prabhu. He used to actually recite a lot of shlokas, Vedic shlokas, Rudram Chamakam and Lord Shiva's prayers and everything. So after joining ashram also, he wanted to continue doing that. Because Lord Shiva is my favorite before coming to Bhakti also, and especially his silent pose, that meditative pose. A lot of people who are in today also, they go for Lord Shiva because they feel that I'm so much in anxiety looking at Lord Shiva peaceful, I'll be also be peaceful. Ashutosh. Of course, the same Lord Shiva does Tandava also, that's a different story. So Radhesham Prabhu told, and so we would chant 16 rounds every day, and then he would do 45 minutes of this also, these Vedic prayers also. And he came to spiritual master and told him, Prabhuji, Maharaj, I'm having a lot of distractions and chanting Hare Krishna. I have a lot of Vedic mantras pop up in my mind when I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Maharaj, very sattvic distraction. Here, what all kind of distractions we get when we are chanting Hare Krishna. You're very fortunate you're getting these kind of distractions. And then he asked, Maharaj, after chanting 16 rounds, I take 45 minutes to chant those mantras also. What should I do? Should I give up or should I not give up? Should I continue chanting? He said, you can chant, but it is not required. And then Maharaj walked off. Right. So then after that interaction, he thought, okay, I can stop chanting those and I can continue chanting Hare Krishna only. So the Vedic scriptures, many times, one of the aspects of surrender is, as I said, with respect to demigod worship also. If the Vedics, the Bhakti literatures are saying and something, And then we have the Vedic literature which are saying, and there is a contradiction. We choose the Bhakti literatures. That is one thing. Like we have example of Sarvam Bhattacharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to him one morning and gave him prasad. Early morning. He didn't even have brush his teeth also. So the moment he got prasad, he ate it. Right. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you are a Brahmana. You're supposed to wash your, at least wash your mouth, not if not have bath before eating something. Then he quotes Bhakti literature. Prapti matrena bhaktavyam. The moment you get, honor the prasad. That is one of the most favorite verses of our devotees. Right. So, but if someone who has come from a Vedic background, like I remember once we were, the previous Keshadripuram temple, small temple. So there behind the main temple hall, there was a big prasadam hall. They used to serve prasadam on Sundays. So I, Anantola Prabhu and Ananta Vraja Prabhu, Abhishek Prabhu, Ananta Vraja Prabhu were talking. Then Ananta Prabhu was talking about one Mannanjaya Govindacharya, some very huge scholarly person. And he passed away apparently. Or is he still alive? Or he passed away? So we were discussing about him. And then Prabhuji was glorifying him, such scholar and this and that. So Ananta Vaji Prabhu, I was standing there. I was like Paramatma, just watching them interact. So Ananta Vaji Prabhu told him, Prabhuji, why can't he, if he's such a scholarly person, why can't we make him devotee? That's what we think now always. Like the way Hanuman thought when he saw Ravan. Such a scholarly, such a beautiful person. The only thing missing in this person is devotional. So Prabhuji asked our Anantola Prabhu, Prabhuji, can we call him here and make him a Krishna devotee? Ananda Prabhu said, Are Baba, if he comes here and sees that we are serving prasad, devotees have had prasad, they went for hand wash, the place is empty. Without cleaning, next row of the devotees are sitting and taking prasad. So those who are from Brahminical background, immediately will turn and run away from that place. Because those who are born in that Smarta or the Vedic upbringing, first you have to clean the place and then you have to honor prasad. Right. So all this principle, and now this, consider that and consider this, Prapti Matrena Bhoktavya. Right. So someone who's from a Vedic background, he may feel, no, this is not proper and everything. So that is also an aspect of surrender. For us, we don't have to worry because most of us have not come from that Vedic background also. So no problem, Roji. Full surrender to Vedic scriptures, Bhakti literatures. Then Prabhupada talks with respect to the heavenly planets. Right? If a person has to increase his lifespan, he has to go to the higher planetary systems, live longer life. Right? But again, this is also something which people don't believe now. Recently, there was a moon mission, one more moon mission recently went Artemis 2. It went around, did a production of moon and came back. Apparently, the planet sent some more. So currently, there is no faith in the life on other planets only. Forget about the higher planetary system and everything. And it's amazing. Despite that, how many of you have seen Narsimha movie, Mahavatar Narsimha? In that, there is a cosmic fight. So every time they show cosmos, they don't show the solar system that we have it now. Have you seen the Meru planet? Meru Parvat was there and everything. So they also are fully authentic compared to the Vedic cosmology. Anyway, so first of all, people don't believe, and people's understanding of long life is right now. In this life, try to make your life as long as possible. And there are billionaires who are actually doing research. I had heard this one. This was a lore. When Walt Disney, the maker of the Disney, he actually, when he died, before dying, he actually gave in his will, he actually earmarked some amount of Lakshmi to scientists, some scientists, and said that please come up with a cure to make dead man alive. Because that's the time when science was progressing and we thought anything was possible. Now people have lost faith in science, not so much. But that time there was a lot of faith. Anything is possible through science. So he wrote a will and he thought my body should be kept in a freeze, in the cryo storage, so that my body doesn't deteriorate. Once you find cure to make dead person back to life, take my body out and then I'll be back to life. He wrote that will and died. Okay. And now he had a huge amount of property. So his children or whoever was his kin, nearby relatives, they put a court case to delete that will, so that he doesn't come back to life and then he'll take all our wealth. Right. So somehow people want to increase their lifespan in this world itself. And that's what exactly Hiranyakashipu also wanted to do. What was the first thing he asked Brahma? Immortality. I don't want to die. Brahma said, "Mere paas khud nahi hai. How will I give something which I don't have?" Then he came up with a complex agreement. Even lawyers will be crazy looking at it. The kind of loopholes he found out. And the amazing thing is, Lord Narasimha went the next step. Without breaking a single line in that contract, Narasimha did the needful. Right. So here, what Prabhupada is telling here is, if you want a longer life, then okay, go for higher planets, aim there. And if you want eternal life, then come to spiritual world. I'll just end with this one small example. In 1980s, one person, he actually was working in Mumbai, and he was while traveling in Mumbai train. One person was playing a radio, and in that a movie song was playing. आ लेके चलूं तुझे पलकों तले, ऐसी दुनिया में जहाँ गम भी न हो, जहाँ आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार ही प्यार. He heard that and he felt, wow, I want to go to that place. Amazing, no? Like I don't know, those who know Hindi, right? I'll take you to a place where there is no unhappiness, there is no tears. It's happiness, happiness, happiness. Where every step is dance. Where when the water is sweet like nectar. So he heard this and he was really intrigued. Most people don't pay attention to the lyrics. They just are interested in the tune. But this person paid attention to the lyrics and is really, and his life was also, anyway, everyone's life is miserable. So he thought, I want to go to that place where Gam bhi na ho, Asu bhi na ho. And he tracked the name of the author who wrote that song. And after a lot of effort, that time there was no internet also, 1980s. Lot of efforts he put, and finally he tracked down the lyricist. And he was in Mumbai only. Mumbai is where movies are made. He went to that person's home, rang his bell in the morning, 10 o'clock on a Sunday. That person opened the door. And they said, Kya chahiye? I said, no, actually I heard the song of yours. I want to know more about this, please. Can you tell me? He said, what? I just wrote some song for the sake of a movie. I have no idea. People don't have, no, they just imaginary write some things. Then he bhaga diya usko wahan se. So then finally, after a few days, he came to Chowpatty temple. This is in late 80s, early 90s. And there he was sitting in the class. And that day's Bhagavatam class, or Bhagavad Gita class's verse was from the Bhagavad Gita, na tadbhasete suryo na shashanko na pavage tattvana nivartante taddama paramam. And there that Prabhuji was in full descriptive mode, describing Vaikuntha and then everything. And then that's how he became devotee. He's a Hare Krishna devotee today, chanting 16 months, is a senior counselor in Chowpatty temple. Right. So everyone has a desire to live long as life as possible, happy life as possible. But then they're looking it in the wrong place. That's what Prabhupada is saying. And finally, and the most important one is with respect to yajna. All activities are to be performed for the satisfaction of the Lord. And this is very, very difficult and very, very painful. Because people may say, "Theek hai, I believe in Krishna. Okay, I'll chant Hare Krishna. Oh, I have to read only books. Okay, I'll read books also, no problem. Okay, I would need a long life and I need to go to heavenly planets, or for that matter, okay, I'll do that." But practically what a person is doing 8 hours, 10 hours in a day, that to offer that to Krishna, that is a challenge. Right? Like one of our devotees was, he was a very big preacher. And one millionaire came to temple for his class. After the class was over, they both were talking. And this person, millionaire, he was telling to our preacher, Prabhuji, I have so much wealth, so much money. I have ocean of wealth. The more than the drops of water in the ocean, I have money. But I am not happy. And you are having no wealth. You're a brahmachari. But you seem to be ecstatically jumping. You are jumping and swimming in the ocean of bhakti rasa, bhakti ecstasy. Can I please get few drops from your bhakti ecstasy? Our Prabhu said, of course, take buckets, why you drops? And give few drops from your wealth ocean also. 6 months he was not there, he escaped. Then finally he came back and then they had a discussion and everything. So it's very easy to think that, okay, I believe in Krishna, this and that. But on a daily basis, the work which we are doing, it's very difficult for us to accept, Krishna as the, what can I say, the enjoyer, the beneficiary of those activities. And that takes some amount of time, some amount of Krishna consciousness, some amount of purification. It takes a little bit of time in Krishna consciousness to actually understand that what Krishna wants for me is better than what I want for myself. Like if you see, when Samudra Manthan pastime happened, Vishnu told the demigods, a lot of things are going to come out of the Samudra Manthan. Don't fight with the demigods for them. You don't have the cards. You don't have the power right now to fight with them. So when a lot of some things they gave, the demons came to the demigods also. But for most things, when things came out, Mohini Murti or whatever it was, demons took for themselves. And after that, after doing all of that, and finally nectar came. Right. And what did the demons do? Stole it away. And the demigods are sitting silently. Right. Gurus, अरे क्या यार इतना मेहनत किया and Vishnu told he'll do something, nothing is happening here. They had faith. And finally Vishnu did the needful. Similarly, after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna and Krishna were standing, Krishna said, "Pehle aap." Arjun said, "No, no, pehle aap." Pehle chal raha tha wahan pe. And Krishna finally became very serious and said, "No, you get down first." Then Arjuna got down. And the moment Krishna got down, what happened? Chariot exploded. Arjuna did not know it. So in our life also, there may be so, on a daily basis, there are hundreds of ways in which things can, no, bad things can happen to us. Even death can happen to us also. Layoffs can happen to us. But the very fact that we're still continuing, which means Krishna is actually showing grace to us. We may not be able to see it. That God gives and gives, man gets and forgets. So we may be forgetting, but Krishna never stops giving. Similarly, when Markandeya Rishi, he wanted to see the Maya Rupa of Krishna. Vishnu. Vishnu said, "Are you sure?" Right. He smiled also. No. And after that, the flood that he had to undergo, and of course, he's a pure devotee, so that became a pastime. But even I think Rajakrishna was mentioning in a class, Vasudeva and Devaki wanted to have God as their child. And because of that, so much tapasya they had to do. And in that life also, 18 years they had to stay in jail and everything. So it's always better to go to spiritual world and serve the God, become the parent of God, rather than trying to make God our child in this material world. It's much easier, right? So that's why many times it may be difficult for us to feel that okay, this is something which is it may not be palatable right now for us, but in the long run it will be good for us. So some amount of time is required because in the early stages only if something like this happens, then people may lose faith in Krishna only. I did so much work, I did so much chanting, and I'm doing this and that, and then I didn't get promotion. Even among devotees also, one devotee got heart attack because rather than him, the person whom he had brought to job, recruited for that role, he got promoted above him. Now that junior become his boss, right? And that he could not handle, and that devotee got heart attack from such. Right. So it may take some amount of time for us to realize the fact that okay, what Krishna is doing for my life is better than what I think is good for me. And through that, actually, we can actually see that this activity that we are doing, the work that we are doing, actually offering to Krishna. Krishna is a beneficiary of all the activities. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions? Yes, bro. Non-Bhakti literatures. Okay. We have reading, but it is there. So how to understand this? Was that impression of that not our reading that is literatures we will carry along. Correct. So what to do with respect to, especially this question is asked by student devotees. They're like, Guruji, I have to study 10 subjects, I have to study, and then mechanical computers. And now to AI, so everyone has become student now, even if you're in corporate, because on a daily basis, AI is changing. So how to see from that perspective? See here, what you have to understand is where do you relish? What do you relish? We may have to do studying of the non-bhakti active books also, but then do we relish in it? And even if, as I think last session also we were discussing, even if there is some amount of relish within the non-literatures also, what is it that you're relishing? Are you relishing some vulgar literature, or are you relishing some literature which actually makes you materially competent, or some literature which actually gives you more intellectual understanding? Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Satvaguna. So there also we need to see. If someone feels, Prabhuji, before coming to Bhakti, I used to read a lot of novels, a lot of Harry Potter and fantasy novels and everything. And now I've come to Krishna consciousness. I'm reading, and I'm got a lot of fantasies there in Bhagavatam also, which may look like fantastic. But still that craving is there to read some novels and everything. Some devotee may feel, Prabhuji, I am fully satisfied in Bhagavatam itself. Mahabharata even better. Whatever, if at all I have some desire, Mahabharata is fulfilling. Some devotees may feel, no, Prabhuji, I still feel the desire to read those books. Then, like when I took to Krishna consciousness, it was a brand new voice, which we had started at that point in time. And naturally, I'm in my first year of engineering. I have no clue what it means to live with people in group, because I've always been living with my family only. And suddenly there is so much diversity in voice. People from all over India are staying. People's nature are different. Food habits, talking style is different. Language is different. So, and we have to supposed to stay and progress in spiritual life also, not fight with each other. And neophyte means fight, neophyte. Right? We are all fighting with each other. That time, I came across one book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective. And I was like, should I read it or not read it? I was scared because, rejected. There is no Krishna there, by the way. Not one word of Krishna was not there in that book, full book, written by some Western author. So then I asked my mentor, said, Prabhuji, should I read it or not read it? He said, because you are in that position of managing or whatever role you are playing, you read that, but then you see how you can apply it in your service. If it is not required, then reject it. So some books we may have to read, like for example, in GEV, devotees have made buildings out of the eco-friendly bricks. And where did they learn it? Indian Institute of Science. In IISc, Gaurang Prabhu would go and he would talk to people, attend conferences. Radheshyam Prabhu glorifies Gaurang Prabhu. He said that at the age of 40, late 40s and 50s, the person who has spent majority of his life reading Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and CC and giving class on that, for him to attend these material conferences, for him to read these books on how to make a eco-friendly subject, just because his spiritual master had ordered him, that's a great sign of surrender. Right? So why are we reading? Are we reading it because as a duty? Then no problem. Please go ahead. Are we reading because we relish it? Then also no problem. As long as it is not in the mode of tamoguna. It may be in the mode of goodness, even better. In the mode of passion also, like Prabhupada says, sugarcane and molasses may not be in the pure goodness, but by offering it to Krishna, we can make it pure. So similarly, you may be reading AI literatures, for example, how AI works. If you are seeing from bhakti perspective, okay, for our center, can we have a chatbot? So that people on our website, can we have a chatbot? People can, or can we create a chatbot where, say, for example, there are so many devotees who are wanting to give class, but they don't know where to. Like Bhagavatam is so oceanic. ISKCON Desire Tree is so even more oceanic. So can we have one place where devotees can ask ChatGPT, I want to give a class on this particular thing? And ChatGPT right now, the way it has all and more trained on the Western data. It is little more atheistic compared to Bhakti literature. It will give a lot of things also. But can I create a training model? Can I train a GPT model on only Prabhupada books? Prabhupada books, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, CC, or classes from Prabhupada and everything. So that devotee has just had to type, I am giving class on 2.5.15. Can you please help me structure some notes or something like that? So like that for everything that we hear or read. Like for example, recently I was hearing one audiobook. One in my office, it was suggested. There is one company called Netflix. So this book is on how they manage that company. So one of the things in that company is that you can give feedback freely to people. You should not be disrespectful. You should not be taking your vengeance on others, but you should be able to give feedback freely so that the company can do better. I was thinking, imagine, and on a daily basis, they're actually giving feedbacks. Juniors are giving feedbacks to others, seniors are giving feedbacks to their boss. I think, my God, if this happens in ISKCON, there will be World War V. Right? And why not in ISKCON? I was thinking about it. If they are so much concerned about entertainment company so much, we are giving hope to the whole world. Imagine ISKCON has that culture, candid culture. They call candor, where you can give feedback freely to people. One more idea mentioned in that book was that suppose you come with new idea. Now, before you launch it, spend a lot of money on it. One of the things they say is socialize it, which means you put a Google sheet and then you put that idea. Let people access it and give the rating to it. Rating of 8, rating of 9, if they like it. So I was thinking, for our Janmashtami, why not we do that? We come up with some, we have been, now the big centers, we need to have more plans. So you have one steering committee is there, you put a Google sheet and then you put all the ideas that you get. The devote is going to put the ratings. And if those who have put less rating, let them explain, I feel this is, so we can save a lot of time in a steering committee meeting. Otherwise, Janmashtami meeting start is there, but end is not there. It's like a bottomless well many times. And devotees get scared looking at the meet link only. And that it is mentioned 1 hour. We all know that's never going to end in 1 hour. So like this, even if you're reading some non-Bhakti literature, if we have learned the art of connecting it to, and Prabhupada has given us ISKCON, such a big company, whatever you want to call it, company, institute, or whatever it is, such a big company. So if you are able to relate to it, first thing is your understanding becomes better of that subject, whatever you're reading, because now you're connected it to ISKCON. And secondly, it may actually come in handy to serve devotees also. Like we have ISKCON Chaupati's Yatra, managing 12,000 devotees. It's so difficult. Managing 70 devotees only 2 days, I was pasina chhud gaya mera Melkota Yatra which we did. Right. So if we are able to somehow or other read those literatures and get something to serve Krishna, well and good. So reading as a duty, amazing, no problem. If you are finding some joy in reading those literature also, don't curse yourself. Right. Okay, I found a great joy in reading this. Now let me see if something I can apply it in association of duties. Nothing wrong with that. Right? Like one of our devotees is giving class in Australia, and there was one person sitting in the audience, and Prabhuji was, like the class is not never like one flow. There's always some jokes, some stories, some light movements, and everything. This person was fully serious the whole class, and not only serious, he was glaring at Prabhuji also. Prabhuji was feeling uncomfortable. So after the whole class was over, he called him and asked him, Prabhu, everything okay? Like the way you're sitting in the class and you're not responding to any of the interactions in the class and everything. So no, Prabhuji. Actually, I was feeling that even if you're giving jokes, me laughing means I'm doing sense gratification. I don't want to do sense gratification in class. It's only meant for serving to Krishna. Right. So that's not necessary. You don't have to kill your basic instincts to please Krishna. Krishna is not a dictatorial God where, if you are happy even a little bit, Krishna will shoot you or something. Krishna wants you to be happy. All we need to ensure is when we are trying to relish something, we don't enjoy. Right? One of our boys we are giving class said, when a non-devotee sees watermelon, what does he think? And one of our boys raised hand. Probably enjoy. Right? When our devotee sees watermelon, what does he feel? Probably offer and enjoy. So we don't enjoy, we relish. Right? We offer it to Krishna, and whatever comes as prasadam, we enjoy. So it's okay. Even if someone finds joy in such literatures, can you connect it to Krishna? Well and good. Right? If you're finding no joy in it, but you're still doing it as a duty, still great. But if you are supposed to do it and not doing it in the pretense that, Prabhuji, I have no taste in it, that can come as irresponsibility, which will have its consequences. Right? So each person has to see in which category is it falling. Am I doing it because I like it? Okay, I like it, no problem. Can I use it in Krishna's service? I don't like it, I'm doing it as a duty, even better. That's actually best platform. Or am I avoiding it because it is inconvenient for me? I don't have taste in it. Then there has to be a question mark. To what extent it is the repercussion? Someone says that, Prabhuji, repercussion is so much that I'll be kicked out of my job. No problem, Prabhuji. I have enough. My father's business is there, and heaps of wealth is there. And I was waiting for this company to kick me out. No problem. Okay, fine. Then continue. But if job is important for you, if you feel that no, Prabhuji, I want to build a career and everything, then you have to study it, even if you don't like doing it, as a matter of duty. I hope this answers the question. Anything else, we can take it offline. It's already late. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki.
Hare Krishna. So let us thank His Grace Vrindavan Gopal Pr. Every time it is so nice to hear from Prabhuji. He will tell so many pastimes, so many lessons, and like